Denver is not a big city, guys. Go on Google Maps, and if you check out Denver, this city is relatively small. Chicago, 2 million people. New York City, 7. Little Denver, less than a million. More specifically, 710,000 people. So when you add in tens of thousands of people into Denver, what happens? Denver Health is now at a critical point. This is one of the biggest hospitals, and many of their smaller clinics are filled with migrants. Many of their biggest hospitals are turning away their own local residents because migrants, they need care. A lot of these guys have traveled hundreds of miles to Denver. Many of them are not in the best states. Some of them probably got sick on the buses. It's also the wintertime, so flu season's rampant. So Denver Health is at a critical point as 8,000 migrants make 20,000 emergency visits. The Denver hospital system is now turning away local residents because they're saying that they're flooded with migrant visits. And number one, guys, we already have a massive physician shortage here in the US. We also have a massive nurse shortage in the US. We're also seeing a lot of pharmacies being overwhelmed. Technicians simply can't keep up. And with already a big shortage on healthcare personnel, Denver before was already struggling a little bit with their hospital and healthcare department, but now it's even more because when you have 20,000 emergency visits, you don't have enough personnel or time for your own people. This is making many of the residents of Denver absolutely furious, guys. If you check out what Denver looks like now, this is what it looks like. This is now Denver, Colorado. I've been here before a couple times to visit some family. It was actually a pretty fun area, but now people are saying that downtown just looks like this. You have migrants everywhere. You have tents everywhere. You have basically the city brings in about 30 to 40, maybe even 50,000 people. And then they're like, oh, we don't have enough shelters. We don't have enough places to basically like house these people. And honestly, it's kind of sad for everyone, right? It's sad for the local residents who, once again, can't even visit hospitals because they're always filled up and booked. This is also sad for the migrants who came to Denver. Now they don't have a place to sleep because the city didn't prepare anything. And many of them are starving. Many of them are hungry. And because there's so many people, even some of these guys can't even get healthcare access. So it is a lose-lose scenario for everyone at this point. Denver, if they just took in maybe like 3,000 migrants and they were prepared to handle 3,000 migrants, then I'm sure most people will be fine in Denver. But because you have, let's see here, about 38,000 migrants in a city whose population is only 700,000, and a city that usually grows in a small and steady pace of like 1 to 2% a year, and you suddenly like slam almost 40,000 people in, with some numbers going up to almost 50,000, of course, Denver is now struggling. They have way too many migrants. I think initially Denver probably would have taken about 3,000 to 5,000 migrants and they would have been okay. They wouldn't really been stretched so thin, but they're taking like 40,000 migrants, almost 50,000, according to some articles out there. They're struggling to stay afloat, and they're facing a budget issue because a lot of these migrants aren't here with a job. They're here because it's a sanctuary city, and Texas is shipping buses over there. And now Denver is like, hold on a second, guys. We only have 700,000 people in the city. Our hospitals are basically booked 24/7. Healthcare personnel is being worked day and night. They can't take this anymore, and it's at a critical point. And then you have even more people coming, guys. This whole inflow immigrant situation and migrants, it's not stopping anytime soon. In fact, Denver mayor is down so bad. They're asking the Biden administration for more work authorizations to get migrants off the streets because they don't have enough shelters. And when you don't have enough shelters, you're going to have migrants on the streets. And when you have migrants on the streets, businesses close, tourism decrease, and also sanitary level of the city goes down. Not to mention, when people are living on the streets, typically many of them do get sick, do get injured. There's not enough food. There's low sanitation. So more emergency visits, and thus hospitals get super overwhelmed. Denver basically screwed themselves. Many residents are not happy at all. This is what Denver looks like now. Like I said, the migrants come here, no food, no water in many of these streets. Okay, shelters are always full. The healthcare is very poor because it's always booked, and then the residents are happy. This is a really big issue right now. The city doesn't know what in the world to do, and this is basically up there with like Chicago, New York City. Hopefully, Denver sorts this out. It really is a fantastic and beautiful city, but let's see what happens to Denver the next few years. With many people saying that Denver might just be going downhill now. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below, subscribe for more, and more news to come.